Good evening, Meisters. How's everybody doing? Sorry I did this at 5 o'clock this evening, but there's some things that are coming on the TV later this evening I'm not going to miss, so I thought I'd do an early live. And the reason why I'm doing a live is because after the defense filed their motion yesterday, I wasn't able to get the documents until late last night. So if anybody has not read these documents, you need to let me know, and I'll go over them with everybody. Give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Julie Nolans. Good to see you. Low Light Recovery. As a matter of fact, Low Light Recovery gifted 5 memberships. So check your stockings, people. Thank you, Low Light Recovery. CJK, Karen Hicks, Mustang, Sleuth Reloaded, Melissa Wildcard, Linda Harters, Frontier, Grandy. What's going on, buddy? 6-3 clocks, Farmer. Oh, you got that bug, huh? Feel better, bro. Don't hang out in here if you don't need to. Miranda Lee, good to see you. I'm going through the chat, see who's all in here, guys. Ron Logan, what's going on, buddy? You're a popular item right now. What's going on, Joe? Well, Joe's been live in my community page. Cecil Hotel, what's going on? Coach Kev's in the house. Thank you once again, Low Light Recovery. Gibbo, what's going on, man? Ziggy, what's going on? Boston. Rescue, there's my buddy. Miss your face. Miss Laura, it's good to see you. Christopher Collins, good to see you. Wife Lilith. You need to start talking to some more to your buddy and see if he's lying again. Wife Lilith. Teddy, what's going on? Lady Monet, good to see you. Tina Stair. Because I have a feeling that Keegan's pulling his shit again. Cindy Lean, good to see you. Okay, let me go look for you again now. The hell's that supposed to mean? Has anybody read these documents? If you haven't, I'll go over them with you. But I still want to pull them up because there's some shit that it didn't add up to me. Give me a second, guys. All right, Windows, share. And that's why I named this show Andrew Baldwin Butthurt, because some of the things I'm reading through these documents basically is just an amendment to the Frank's motion, the original Frank's motion, because they're going right back to Keegan Kline again. And y'all know how Keegan Kline worked. Y'all know that he was notorious for giving false information just to make money on his books when he was in Miami Correctional. Yeah, Blade's laying right here, Melissa. He sure is. And from when I was reading these about the supposed letters from Ricky Davis, I will tell you this, that I did verify that there has been one letter that was received from Ricky Davis. I verified this today, but the other ones, there was no, the individual doesn't know anything about the other ones. And I did verify Keegan did go to this. They did take, ISP did take him to the cemetery. I will verify that. The red Jeep was impounded by, I don't know if it was Carroll County or if it was ISP, from the new owner who bought it from TK or bought it from a lot that TK sold it to or something in that nature. The red Jeep was confiscated. Nothing came out of that. You got to remember the river search lasted 5 weeks. And then within 3 weeks after it ended, they arrested Richard Allen. And from the information that I have received, there was nothing found or significant in the river search pertaining to the Delphi case. All right, let me get back to my chat. Question. Lynn GMB. When an inmate sends a letter to anyone, does the facility go through it and make copies of it before mailing? That would be where to go if yes. They said 8 letters. I'm not sure about outgoing mail. If Ruckus is in the chat or if he's watching or anything, he would know. He would definitely know. But the thing people have to remember also is he brought up this thing with Ron Logan saying something about a box knife. And now he's claiming that Richard Allen has nothing to do with this crime. Then you explained to me in one of his confessions, he said he used a box knife. How did Ricky Davis know about that? Or know about a box knife besides Ron Logan? I still don't believe the situation with Ricky Davis. He's out for something, and I am getting word that he's been basically a jailhouse lawyer up there in Newcastle. So he's trying to make money. That's blatantly obvious. And to me, him allegedly talking with Keegan Klein and Keegan allegedly giving him all this information is just a ploy by Keegan Klein once again to make money. He knows he put some bullshit out there that people are going to jump on the bandwagon for. Of course, he's going to want people to write him, people to chirp him, whatever, to make that money. You got to remember, these guys are in prison. And if they don't have a prison job while they're there making whatever it is, 60 cents a day, whatever the hell their pay is, they ain't got no commissary coming in. They don't have a TV in their cell. None of that stuff. So, and once again, and the reason why I called this show is Andrew Baldwin butthurt. To me, it seems to me that he is trying to save face. If you noticed, all the filings that have been going on here lately have only been by Baldwin, not Rosie. Okay? And the reason why I think he's trying to save face is because of the leaks that came out of his office. And they're not going to convince that Westerman illegally took photographs or whatever he did. We all know that Westerman was working with Baldwin on this case prior to all that happening. So I'm sure that Westerman had access to all those, the crime scene photos and all that stuff. And to me, it seems like he's trying to save face because he got embarrassed. He lost his case, and now his reputation could be in jeopardy for just that happening alone. And now he's trying to reverse the role and put it off on Nick McClellan. And what another thing is that people you need to understand is do not jump on the bandwagon of what Baldwin's saying. Okay? Go back to the first memorandum that they filed. I keep preaching this, and I'm going to keep preaching this. They only defended Richard Allen when it came to the actual crime scene. Go back and read it. It's the only thing they defended him on. Why didn't they defend or mention that he was not bridge guy? Explain that to me. That's one thing in that memorandum that caught my eye. They were diverting away from the crime scene, but not the bridge. And this is where Keegan Klein came into it, the Odinism came into it, and all this shit. They were putting everything into the crock pot to see what they could stew up. I'm going through the chat here. But once again, like I said, Lynn, I couldn't tell you anything about outgoing mail, but I'm pretty sure the incoming mail all gets searched. If y'all watched any of the prison shows on TV, all the mail gets searched and all that stuff for drugs, contraband, and all that shit. I mean, Coach Kev's got a good point. All Allen supporters can just tell everyone where he was during the murders. That's an absolute fact. Then, if you guys are so confident that he is not part of this crime, tell us what his alibi was. And don't give me this shit about, well, he knew Keegan Klein. Prove it. Just because Richard Allen's mother lived in Peru, it's just a coincidence that his mother lived in the same town as Keegan Klein at this point in time. There is absolutely no proof that there was any communication between these two guys or Ron Logan whatsoever. As you can see, he had to throw the burner phone thing in with his talking to Baldwin and whoever else was up there at Newcastle talking to him. He had to throw the burner phones in. We knew about burner phones from day one. We knew about them. Just a second, guys. And we honestly do believe that Richard Allen was using a burner phone. So was there a connection with the Anthony shots? Just don't know. Until there's physical proof, scientific proof, digital forensics, or anything, Richard Allen is the guy. No matter what. And that's all Nick McClellan has to prove, that he is the guy on the bridge. That is all he has to do. He doesn't have to prove that Richard Allen physically killed these two young ladies. He doesn't have to prove that. Just by the way the charging him information is. You kidnapped them and they end up dead. That's all that matters to Nick. You kidnapped him, so we're going to get you for the murder too. Even though you didn't physically kill them yourselves. Oh, they found, I'm sure they found a bunch of garbage in there. So, on Silent Bob. So, the defense couldn't wait until next week to release this motion. Had to be on the anniversary date of finding the girls. They are psychopathic ghouls. Totally agree. I totally agree with you on Silent. It was kind of rude and disrespectful. I mean, what they've done does not surprise me whatsoever, especially when we were up in Allen County and Bradley Roseley had the audacity to say with the family in the courtroom, I could care less about them photos being, the crime scene photos being in public. What I got to say to you, Mr. Rosie, is that how would you feel if it was your child, your grandchild, that was murdered in this horrendous way, and people started pointing fingers at you, saying that you were involved somehow? And I'm telling you, all the Allen supporters, the same thing. Y'all, karma's going to bite y'all in your all asses. I just pray to God that nothing ever happens to a family member like it to these girls, to any of you. Because what's going to end up coming is people are going to start pointing their fingers at you guys. You're the one who got your grandson or daughter or whatever murdered. If you guys keep this up, it's going to, I'm just saying, karma's a bitch. Miss Laura says they cannot place him in anywhere else. Exactly. He was there at the time everything started taking place. And he admitted to that. That's a typical thing with the inmates, depending on their charges and stuff like that. I mean, Keegan Klein's in his third prison already, and he's only been incarcerated 2 years. You're trying to be funny, Gibbo? He's never been in trouble. Oh, boy, you need to go look at his rap sheet, bud. Exactly, Joe, and that's what I'm trying to explain. This is what inmates will do to make a buck or try to get a deal or anything, because the dude's got a 40 or 50-year sentence for drugs, fraud, theft, forgery, you name it. He's got it. And now all of a sudden he's become a jailhouse lawyer. It's blatantly obvious they don't care about the victims, CJK. They don't. Like I said, they're not putting themselves in the shoes of these families where they had a loved one that was horrendously murdered in this way. Excuse me just a minute. And that's why I pray to God that nothing ever happens to any of their children or any family members, because it's liable to come back on them if it ever happens. And I hate to say it like that, but I'm not trying to be rude, but they don't have no empathy whatsoever. Miss Laura, you got a lot to talk about. Do you want to come up? Is there any evidence that the box cutter letter was officially written way back then? Because Baldwin is making false alarms about recent letters and emails. Yes, there is proof that he wrote a letter back in May of 2000. Hold on. It wasn't actually a letter. What happened was him and his girlfriend were talking on the prison phone, and this is how all the information came out. And his girlfriend's the one who turned the tip in, and that's how it was uploaded into the Orion system. But they didn't go and interview Ricky Allen until June 21st of 2017. And at that time, they had him rewrite his tip letter, interviewed him, and then polygraphed him all in the same day. And the polygraph was based off the letter that he had written. Oh, I'm not. I'm not being a jerk to him. I know you're listening. I'm just letting him know. Because Ricky Davis is not a good guy. So no, now I'm getting my ass chewed. Good one, Laura. Baldy broke the gag order and spiked to Dateline last year, and spoke to Dateline last year, and it are this upcoming week. Indiana bar needs to be made aware, as well as the court. Yeah, next Friday at 9:00. Dateline, they're doing a special on Delphi, I guess. The defense just had to put it out on Friday when they knew Abby and Levy would be on everyone's mind, especially the families. I mean, they're really sick people. Agreed. I see. I don't know. I'm going to call up there. Matter of fact, I'll call up to the Bar Association on Monday and see if anything's being done about that, to let you guys know. Yeah, Baldwin's a journalist major. This thing that he issued yesterday looks like a 12-year-old wrote it. I'm not going to let myself get all fooled by them till the full story is out. Why isn't more outrage about how they did tell all the information about the hair? You got a good point there, Laura, and that's one of the things that keep trying to express to people is that these defense lawyers, that's what they do. They cherry pick the information they want you to hear, not what you need to see and what you need to hear. And see, the thing of, hold on, I get the lady. Rumor has it Baldwin and Snake see the same doctor about their limp dicks. Oh, Lord. Lady Monet, I once visited an inmate at the infirmary in Pendleton. It's an old facility, but it was super clean. It was scary with all the locking gates behind me and walking across the courtyard. Yeah. Another thing, Joe, is that who's this other inmate that allegedly said that Ron Logan was laying on the floor in a cell masturbating and calling out one of the girls' names? Is that Ricky Davis? Or is it the other guy? Because I know that there was another guy. Oh, the thing about Pendleton with Richard Allen, he's going to the prison where an individual is doing time for 2 counts of murder and was accused of being the killer. Garrett Kurtz. Everybody's requesting an email. Give me just a second, fellas. Thank you, V. There is my email floating on the bottom, guys. I can tell you this right now. I know of 2 people that's talking to Ricky Davis, and I know at least one of them is trying to contact Richard Allen. Can't mention their names because they asked me not to. Well, we know if one of them is trying to talk to Ricky Davis Blade. That's enough. Blade. Somebody's bothering him outside, guys. Sorry. Sorry, I got people blowing me up, guys. All right. I mean, I've been hearing rumors of what happened, what's been going up there at Westfield. I heard that he got his commissary taken away for 45 days. I heard he got put in a hole for putting paper over his window so you couldn't see in his cell. I heard he was making threats again. I heard he was confessing again up there. So who knows what the hell's going on up with Richard Allen? It's all speculation, but I thought I'd just throw it out there because I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the same thing. The movie can't be made yet until the appeal. Exactly. I feel the same way. That's why I said I believe he's trying to save face. Talking about Baldwin, he's embarrassed. I think he thought his big top show was going to off way better than it did. Remember when he brought in stacks? Yeah. And they were blank at that. I'm reading through chat, guys. I'm sure the inmate would make copies, notes, dates sent, or something to prove. Exactly. I would think so too. I would think so too. And, you know, and I'm not going to believe a word that this document says until you publish the audio tape that during your interview with him, because we know you recorded it. You had to in order to transcribe it. So I want to be able to hear it from his mouth that he sent in 8 letters to Nick McClellan. The family and we as a group needed today to mourn and come together as friends to remember our girls, not see all that BS. God bless the poor families and all their. And you know, somebody, I'm not going to mention no names, got a kind of attitude with me about using my reach to get the comments turned off on the interview with Mike and Becky through Fox 59, and he said, what are you now? Everybody, are you the family's keeper? Well, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, until this case is over with and the family bashing continues, I am going to be a keeper. If you don't like it, too bad. You don't have to watch. You don't have to listen. You don't have to do any of that shit. Dude, go on and do your own thing, dude. Go on and do your own thing. Because all you do is make me laugh so hard to where I'm crying, dude. That's all you do to me. You're a nothing burger. As far as I'm concerned, you don't even exist on this planet Earth. All the crap that you've caused with the family, you done lost, can't talk to your best buddy, TK, no more. You can't talk to Miss Kathy Allen no more. That's not our problem, dude. And you want to take it out on everybody else. Yes, I will continue to be their keeper as long as I need to be. CJK said, let's start a petition to get Baldwin and Rosie investigated. Several thousands would sign it. We have plenty of examples, and they can reach out to go for more. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, Brad Rosie has not done any of these filings. And my personal opinion is, due to the fact is, it's a conflict of interest for him when it comes to Keegan and Ron Logan, because he is partners with Andrew Aki, who used to represent Ron Logan and Keegan Klein. So I believe that could be the reason why you don't see Brad Rosie involved. As far as the yes, V. Marie, that is where Kurtz is at, Pendleton. That's just my opinion. The reason why you don't see Brad in the forefront of this whole mess that's going on with this case. Oh, you're good, Farmer. I got your text. Oh, the David Cam case? That case drug on for 13 years. I haven't. Hold on, where did I go? Neil, I have not seen or heard of him eating his feces here lately. Oh, you guys, I'm on live and you guys are still blowing me up. I know somebody is trying to contact RA. I seen they sent me screenshots of them trying to send him messages. Donna Church, how about the original interview that was mentioned in the motion? Has anyone seen it? The original interview, would it be from 2017? That's what I mean, there's so many dates in here. I don't want to go back through. The original interview was done June 21st of 2017 about his tip. Somebody also told me that Richard Allen was up there preaching the gospel up there in Westville also. That's right, Miranda. Frank gonna be Frank. He's not going to be off safekeeping while he's over at Pendleton. I can tell you that right now. He's going into PC over there. What does nasty comments about the family really accomplish? It really doesn't accomplish anything. they're really just making themselves look like jackasses because they don't want to take the time and review every piece of evidence that's out there on paper or anything. They're doing the same thing as the defense is doing, cherry picking shit. Who's IS, low light? Oh, okay. It's not, Laura. You can say that again. Is being a decent human being is not in style these days. Like I said, and I pray to God it never happens to anybody that your child, grandchild gets murdered in a horrendous way that these two young ladies were. And then people start pointing the finger at you had something to do with it. I just hope that never happens. I don't vote. Sorry, guys. Did I see? Oh, 3 o'clock. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you for having those comments turned off, Frank. Enough is enough. And I'll continue to do it. There's nothing I can do about all the other Scarecrow channels, but when it comes to Fox 59, I can make 2 or 3 calls to them and ask them to do favors for me. I don't think Richard Allen has a iPad or whatever they use in prison right now. Sorry, Lord. Going through the chat. Well, yeah, they still get tablets and stuff like that. They got to be able to communicate with family or an attorney or whatever. Well, from my understanding, I read a news article, Laura, and I can't remember what station it was, and they were talking about that they've been requesting to interview Richard Allen up there in Westfield in the prison denied them. They said security reasons and some other things. I doubt that he'll be put in general population. They don't take too kindly to child killers. I'm not sure. I don't think they're allowed to have any type of social media accounts. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think they can. Oh yeah, I used to live in Lawrence, about a 40-minute drive to Pendleton from Lawrence. Well, I mean, I've got my reasons for not voting. I've learned how this political system works, and it's all hogwash. Excuse me. Play school iPad. Funny, badass. I mean, I understand if you repent that you'll be forgiven, but I mean, one of the 10 commandments says that shall not kill. And how can you be forgiven if you repent for commit murder? I mean, I just have a hard time with that. Sorry to preach that, CJK, but somebody explain that to me. Jared Fogel's in Colorado. Correct, Lady Monet. They got a chirping system. They get it. They get a use the email address and all that stuff, but I don't think they're allowed to have social media. that's my point, badass. It's kind of contradictory when God clearly states, "Thou shalt not kill," but then again, turn around. If you repent, you'll be saved. And I just don't get it. So everybody's being quiet. Any questions? I need questions so I can try to answer. We're not going into politics on here. It's not what this channel's about, low light. Sorry. I don't want to talk about religion, but that's just one of those things I had to because of Richard Allen wanting to go to heaven and all that stuff for after what he done. I see Cecil Hotel. Thank you for the $2 super chat, super sticker. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, and it's all right, guys. If you guys want to keep the Keegan Klein in the back of your head, you go right ahead and do that. But I would just leave it there until we get some evidence proving that he knew Richard Allen or he knew Ron Logan. It's the only thing I can tell you about it. We do know that Keegan had contact with Libby. We know that much, but how far into that conversation or that contact did they have? That's the question. I tried to get a hold of her today. She didn't answer. See how she was doing. I've been long overdue over on KK. Like I said, how do we know that he's not pulling the same shit that he was pulling when he was in Miami County, giving out bullshit information just to make money? Huh? She? Oh, Carrie. Okay, I got you. Thank you, Rescue. Let's see, Laura Alvarado. I would have to believe that to be truly forgiven. You must have real remorse. My opinion, child killers cannot be rehabilitated and are never sorry. Not to mention his original intent was rape. We know how some so-called journalists are about giving interviews and changing what is. Oh yeah, exactly. Good point, badass. Good point. And I was just talking to somebody about this last night with some of these journalists. And some of them that I've gotten to know over the last 3 to 4 years, I'm not real happy with because of the way they were handling their little 10-minute news or updates or whatever they were doing. They were twisting facts and leaving things out that should have been put out there. And that's why I really don't use a whole lot of people from the news agency. I only use one if I haven't got something, I get with them. If they ain't got something to get with me, if they need information that I have and they don't have, that's the kind of things that I do behind the scenes with the news people. Gibbo, how many scotches have you had today, bro? I walked into a lamppost. I blame rescue all the Franks. Exactly, you're right, Farmer and Joe. It's all about the ratings. Laura wants to come in. Invite. Check the bottom, Laura. I just pinned it on there. Ron Logan was the very first patsy. We all know that. And I made that very clear. I felt like they were trying to frame Ron Logan. I honestly believe they were. Well, there's my friend. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
What's going on?
Hold on. Can you hear my 8-pound chihuahua snoring?
I know.
Okay, good. If you hear that noise.
Well, Blade will be going nuts here in a few minutes because my buddy Taylor's coming over to watch some UFC fights, and he loves Taylor.
So yeah, real quick, I got pretty angry like looking at that because I'm like, it made me flashback to the juror selection days where they, dropped for no reason. I mean, it had nothing to do with juror selection, but they dropped that little hair thing. And, if I was totally believing them by that point, I would be offended that, that they think that I'm just that dumb to just believe everything and not check the rest of it. And then, but also that, when we did find the rest of it, again, it was tested to know that it's familial and it's a female family member. So they didn't need to DNA test it. They went ahead and did it since they, made us stink about it, but they were acting like it was this unknown hair and it could have been an unknown male, and it's never tested at all. And that's not at all the case.
And I did also find out that allegedly, we don't know for sure how many markers they have for the male DNA sample they have. It was 7 to 9 markers, and they can create a profile with 7 to 9 markers. I know this for a fact because there's a world-renowned lady that's working with a couple other podcasters, and she's wanting to do this case, but they don't want it done. And the reason why they don't want it done is they're claiming that the blood sample is tainted with Libby and Abby's blood also. The DNA sample is.
Okay. Well,
so they can get a match for that. It's just they're hesitant because of the diluted sample.
Gosh, I know. I was listening back to what we were talking about the night before. That was so confusing about this sample and that sample. But I was just talking about how they're kind of doing this now. Like the defense's relationship with the truth is pretty loose. So
I just don't understand why the hell they're waiting until now to bring up Lon Logan, Keegan Klein. Before they could have done this well before Judge Gold put a damper on that situation.
Right. And then again, there's probably so many other reasons or more to the story. Like, I mean, who knows what, I don't know. Did he just now go talk to whatever his name is, Ricky now? Or just also, yeah, it's also another thing that the defense did that they had to go down to Georgia. Remember, I don't know how much work they had to spend on it. $14,000,
$12,000.
Okay.
Just to go down and get a picture.
But they didn't have to by any means. But no. I love how, because then when they just write it out in a way of like, well, we asked the prosecutor and he was non-responsive or something, and then so we had to drive down there and get it. It's like, no, you did not. You did that completely on your own.
Yep. And another thing I want everybody to realize again, Ricky Davis says that Ron Logan brought up the box cutter, right? Allegedly brought up about a box cutter. Well, then you can't exclude Richard Allen, because if Richard Allen had admitted in one of his confessions that he used a box cutter and threw it away in the dumpster behind his work.
Right. Well, and I think that there's also, there in the whole 61 of confessions, and then I'm sure that there's others that narrowed down way more things, but they, a solid one to rely on is Dr. Wallace. That's why they brought that one, but I think they know more.
Well, then you got this attorney that's going around to these other panels is claiming that it was truly not 61 confessions.
Who's that?
Well, you know who it is.
Oh, that's hilarious. Is he really them?
Yeah. He said it on live show with me and Marv and Greeno, and you sure did when he was on the panel.
Oh, okay. I like the Viper Pit podcast. Oh my gosh, they have some great episodes. They just were like also talk just what is the enough, or what's the threshold that counts as enough confessions? Like, oh,
Right.
no less than 12 or whatever. Like, I mean, that's still a confession, so he's still admitting that's a confession.
And CJK's got a good point. What happened to that 40,000 that all these scarecrows or Delphi Davians raised? Where did that money go?
Yeah. Did they ever have to track it?
I'm just reading comments here.
Okay.
It's funny how all the Allen groupies would jump on any supposed suspect, which were many, yet not scream it's Ron Logan. But
I mean, just the reading of that, it really screams to me that it seems like he's definitely butthurt, and then
that's the way I feel about it, and I've made that very clear at the beginning of the show. I feel like he's butthurt because he got busted for the crime scene photos. Now he's going to try to dig up any dirt and cranny to try to reverse the role on Nick McClellan.
And I think he was pretty ticked off, and that's what I guess OJ was mad about that they were surprised that they got called out for that. But I mean, Doug Carter, if you call it out, that's a big deal. I mean, you can't be doing shit like that. So, hold on, what did you say, Gibbo?
Hold on, I'm reading this from Gibbo.
Oh yeah, that's correct. That's the only way to get it. Well, maybe Baldwin thought that because that's where I think that he maybe, back in the day he was told like that he was the type of lawyers because he's really good at dramatics, and maybe he could do like a good opening with like flash and pizzazz. But I think that's what he was thinking was going to happen with all these papers.
Well, I mean, once again, I think that he's butthurt and he's trying to save face because he got caught up. And there's no other explanation. Mitch Westerman took a diversion program. He didn't have to do no probation or anything. All he had to do is basically, I don't know what he had to do to get off of everything. He probably did some community service or something like that and reported back to the court and did the hours of community service they needed him to do in order to get everything removed off his record. And the only reason why he did that because he didn't want to have that on his record be tarnished for what happened in this case. And I feel like this is what Baldwin's doing himself, trying to flip the script.
Yeah, and on some of his follow-up interviews, I don't know which channel it was on, but there's a couple, but he didn't really go into Luttrell as much, but he tells a lot of anecdotes and then expects you to just take it as truth when it's
right.
So he'll say like, man, you know what, when I did this, McClellan, he was shocked. So he's trying to he kept saying how shocked he was at different turns. I was like, no, he wasn't. That's just your little take, because you now need to respin it that you'd shocked him so many times, and he's young and not I think that he doesn't go after Luttrell. I think that he wasn't too happy about how Nick out attorneyed him or lawyered him.
It's pretty sad that you got a seasoned attorney like Baldwin, because I did my research on him from day one. And from what I found, he was a damn good attorney. And I even knew a friend of mine whose baby daddy had to hire Baldwin for rape charge, and Baldwin got him off. Give me a second, guys.
Hello. I'll entertain. I wish I could see the chat. He snuck right out of there. Oh, got right by it. Yeah, I'm sure that's something. I don't know. It's just me. I'm sure it was worked out. He agreed
and Rescue's right. Me and her went to the hearing for Westerman, and he didn't appear. He appeared in the courtroom, but he was never in front of the judge. And all of a sudden, he just disappeared. And I'm like, okay. So we sat and waited, and waited, and he never got called up. So I went to the clerk's office and asked him what was going on, and they told me, oh, he just signed a whatever I said he took. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He snuck right out of there.
Well, and even then, I guess, so there, one of the comments was kind of like, well, look, Doug Carter came out swinging the first time he had the chance to. I really respect that. And even, when Becky had the right to say something, they said, they assumed that they were leaked accidentally. And that's all they ever said. Just that, but some of us may even go think a little farther, but they still never said that. But he was clearly very mad about that afterwards. Like, so look, they didn't even say you did it intentionally. Which one? Like,
and to bring up the box cutter again, when Dr. Cord mentioned it during the trial, it was blatantly obvious that Rosie and Baldwin knew about it, knew about the box cutter, because they went off and said you had to bring it up during the trial. You couldn't write a summation explaining why you believe. He said, I'm not going to write a summation when it's my opinion. It could be, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just wanted to come on here for a little bit, guys, and get you guys not to pay attention to those other channels because they're going to try to manipulate you. Wait until what Nick's response is on this latest motion filed by Andrew Baldwin, because we don't know if it's true, if there was eight letters written. I know for a fact at least one was, but the other 8 and the Keegan Klein thing, guys, once again, we all know how he's worked over the years. It's about that dinero. He wants money. He wants people to call him, put money on his books. The same thing with Ricky Davis.
I mean, there's some other things that they have put out there that really aren't the set story. So, like, if for people, I know people in Indiana, and my cousin had worked under Ferenczi, like in a kind of an internship program. So he was an amazing mentor, and I kind of, because I knew that she was really upset when he had passed. So I've kind of asked her recently about things. He was never just recently on the task force of the Odins. He was actually in another department, but they wanted to make it so much that that's exactly what happened. And then this other guy, he retired that day, and she's never, I mean, she was working with him at the time, and that's not even the department that he was on at the time.
Right.
But,
and one more thing, guys, remember, go back to the original Frank's motion, their memorandum, and read through it. You will see that they never defended Richard out of being bridge guy. They only defended him of being a person at the actual crime scene. Just remember that. Go back and read it. You'll see. Why didn't they defend him as being bridge guy? Why didn't they defend him saying that he wasn't the one on the bridge? They didn't.
No, and I'd really like somebody to highlight all the footnotes, because I think that if we really looked at it in highlighted the footnotes, it's like they don't want to talk about it. But I mean, the footnotes
right
debunk almost every kind of little point they're trying to make there. I think the biggest point is like, do your own research and then look at patterns over time. And for me, it's like, I've seen enough times where what they've put out caused great alarm. And then if we just waited like 4 or 5 days, we would have seen what it was. And then like they continue to rely on us being confused or stupid. It's like,
right.
Like that, I don't find that respectful of them. Like, we
We
better.
might not be lawyers, but we're smart enough to look up stuff and figure stuff out on our own. And I think that's what they're trying to do here, is trying to make us look stupid. Well, you're actually making yourself look stupid, because to me, what you just filed yesterday, Mr. Baldwin, is just you amend the Frank's motion and put that in there. That's all you basically have done.
Because they know very well their strategy is playing this in the media. They know.
Oh,
that.
yeah, of course. Of course.
Get the media hyped. And that's like, anytime you can get them talking and a new thing out, let's get hyped.
Exactly. But I want to thank you, Laura. Thank you. Thank you for the donation, Laura. Thank you, Lowlight. Thank you, Cecil Hotel, 63 Clocks. Thank you for all the donations to the channel today in this live. Thank you to my mods for hanging out. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And to everybody that came out and hung out tonight, thank you so much. And the next thing that comes out, which will more than likely be Nick McClellan, I'll review it and talk with some people about it, and I'll do a live. So you know what time it is, guys. Peace out. One love. Until next time. Good night.